All right, let's get into it. We're talking about TailVerse, a universe it's like someone threw Saturday morning cartoons and Grand Theft Auto into a blender, and the whole thing is fueled by creators. Yeah, this is going to be a wild one. Yeah, and this line, this quote right here, it pretty much tells you everything you need to know right off the bat. This is not your average fairy tale. This is the official welcome from TAIL Radio, which is basically the beating heart of this entire world. So, what is the core idea here? Well, just imagine a world where the goal isn't just to win. It's about pulling off the most ridiculous, most stylish heist or prank you can possibly imagine. You've got this perfect mashup of high-stakes crime and slapstick comedy, and the whole thing is run by these cartoon animal people. So, where does all this craziness go down? Well, the main stage for all this mayhem is the city of Santo Ilis. And you gotta understand, this isn't just a city. It's more like a surreal, poisoned playground for a bunch of misfits. And getting the vibe here is absolutely crucial. This is a city that's literally built from corporate sludge and just terrible ideas. The folks living here, they're not heroes out to save the world. No way. They're survivors, they're rogues, they're rebels just trying to get through the day, you know? Usually by stealing some snacks and dropping some seriously sick beats. And get this whole messed up playground wasn't even where it all started. Kinda interesting, right? The story actually kicked off in the, familiar neon-soaked streets of Los Santos before everyone packed up and moved to this even wilder, more cartoonish place. It just goes to show you, this universe is always on the move. Okay, so every chaotic universe needs some kind of anchor, right? A whirlwind at the center of it all. And in Tails' verse, that person, or Fox, is Fiasco Fox. He is the face, the voice, and honestly, the main guy stirring up all the madness. So what's his deal? Where'd he come from? Well, Fiasco isn't your average fox, that's for sure. He's a human-fox hybrid, basically cooked up in a lab with mob money over in Vice City. Naturally, he escaped and ended up in Los Santos, where he started carving out a name for himself as this musical outlaw. And that description of him, Bugs Bunny meets a noir antihero, man, that just hits the nail on the head. But don't think he's just a one-note character, not at all. The guy's got layers. On one side, you have the pure, sun-drenched chaos of his track, Fox in the Sun. And then on the other, you get this jazzy, super regret-soaked confession in Moon over Los Santos. He's basically a party animal who's totally haunted by his own past. But when you strip it all away, this is the Fiasco Fox that most people know and love. This lyric from Boom Bop just captures that playful, untouchable, trickster vibe perfectly. He's the glitch in the system, the guy who turns a high-speed police chase into his own personal music video. But of course, Fiasco isn't flying solo. No way. He's backed by this absolutely unforgettable crew of weirdos and rogues, the Murder Tails crew. And man, what a lineup it is. You've got Nickel, who's like a Scorsese-style cat crime lord. Then there's Ruckus, this super sweet-natured bunny with the energy of a dumpster fire. You got Beak Savage, a military bird who is, let's just say, way too intense. Then there's Zarnock, an alien DJ who literally heard the party from across the galaxy. And you can't forget Trotter, who is absolutely 100% not a unicorn. And this line from their group anthem, Brawl and Ballads, it sums them up perfectly. They're this found family of total outcasts who've turned their shared chaos into this defiant musical thing. It really doesn't matter where they end up, the show is gonna go on. So we've got to talk about the music, because in TailVerse, music is not just background noise, it's the actual language of the world. It's how these characters express themselves, how they tell their stories, and it's what fuels all the anarchy. And the musical diversity here is it's incredible. You've got Fiasco's mix of hip-hop and noir jazz, Ruckus Thump's straight-up emo rock, Beak Savage's, his completely unhinged patriotic opera, and then, of course, Trotter's glitter-soaked Eurodance. Every single character gets their own unique sound. Okay, so you're probably wondering, how does all this actually work? Right? How does a universe this wild and crazy stay even remotely coherent? Well, that brings us to the engine that's powering everything behind the scenes, the story about the story. This is TAIL Radio, and it's not just some in-universe radio station. It is the narrative device that pulls this entire world together.
You can think of it like the official DJ of the universe, listening in on everything and deciding which tracks, which stories get added to the official chaotic playlist.
And this right here is the secret sauce. TailVerse is, at its heart, interactive. Here's how it works. Some creator out there makes their own character, their own story. Tail Radio is always listening, acting as a curator, scanning for the most interesting stuff. When a song or a moment hits hard enough, the station picks it up and broadcasts it, and boom, that story is now official canon. So the universe is always, always expanding, fueled directly by its own community. And that's the core philosophy, right there. This isn't some story handed down from on high. It's a collaborative ecosystem where the real power is in the hands of the players, the streamers, the musicians. TALI Radio just provides the stage and, turns up the volume. So yeah, it all comes down to this. Creator-powered, channel-fueled. It is this perfect feedback loop that, honestly, represents a really cool potential future for how we tell stories. The community creates the noise, and Tail Radio brings the thunder, weaving it all into one massive shared narrative that a single person could never dream of building on their own. So that just leaves us with one final thought, one final question for you. In a world that's built on bootleg broadcasts and stylish anarchy, a world where the doors are thrown wide open for anyone to add their voice to the chaos, what would your broadcast sound like?